This gentleman in the back, they have,
My question is, why are the same samples to Illinois when we've got tremendous labs all over the county?
Right, we are sending, most of the samples that we're sending are to laboratories here in Louisiana. There is one particular analysis, though, it's C1 through C5 sweet plus composition. It's the analytical fingerprinting. It looks at isotope ratios, and I'm really, see, DEQ is a regulatory agency related to pollution and priority pollutants, and that's what we're familiar with. This type of analysis is not something that we routinely do because it's not dealing with poisonous materials that could negatively impact your lives. It's specifically intended to try to identify, is the gas coming from this source or is the gas coming from this source? So that's a very highly specialized test, that one in Illinois, but it's a key component to determining where the materials are coming from. I did get, and I'm going to bring this one up too, just last night I got some preliminary data from that laboratory that I was able to read that, and I really don't know this data very well, but the material from the cavern, the gas from the cavern that we collected at 2 a.m. in the morning when they completed that well does have a similar composition to the sample results that I saw come from some of the bubble sites. Okay, now that being said, that doesn't mean that I know what I'm talking about. You know, this is information that needs to go to people who are much smarter than I am, but they look, I can tell you right now, just from my eyeball on it, they look kind of similar. So, you know, next week hopefully we'll have some better understanding about what the composition of those are. This past week, we collected, in addition, in support of Cause Identification Weekly, we've been gathering samples from industrial wells throughout the area and analyzing them for natural gas and a whole suite of things that's intended to also aid in this fingerprint concept, to decide, okay, what do we have and where is it coming from? And that is an ongoing weekly kind of thing. And in fact, we got a call from a gentleman down at Bruley St. Vincent who said, yeah, I got gas in my well too. It's a shallow. Mr. Pate? Okay, there he is. Right. Okay. And went down there and sampled his well. I told Mr. Pate at that time that some of the samples that I collected there looked very, very similar to the same samples that I was collecting from those industrial wells. I do believe that there is natural gas in his water, and as well as the 2 wells that are adjacent to his property, and we collected those samples in the same way that we did these others, so that we'll be able to look at them and see, are they really similar? And that would be very remarkable, because that would, you know, as the gentleman said earlier, that expands suddenly the reach of this thing another 4.5 miles away from what the site is.
what about the sample?
Okay, yeah, right, and there's so there's fluid samples that were taken from wells, but there are also gas samples from bubble sites and also from the caverns. We had collected cavern samples for this fingerprint business a while back. The laboratories and the experts are telling us that there is always the potential of variability in data, that you know, that the source or the sampling effort or the lab technique can provide variability. So like all good scientists, they say, well, we want more data. We need more data to make sure and be absolutely certain. So that's an ongoing thing that we're going to be doing, collecting that same kind of information. The new